All right. So do you have advice for software engineers out there who want to transition to data scientists?
What worked for me was just grabbing basic books, right? Like, what is machine learning? How does it fit into the space of deep learning versus machine learning versus AI, right? Like, how do those things relate to one another? Another thing is to find a language, right, that is not only used in data science, but that you can take anywhere with you in your career. Meaning, I started out learning R, and then after about 6 months, I realized this language is mainly used in science, healthcare, and that's about it. So I can't take that and
that means a narrow job market too.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of when I transitioned into a more universal language like Python. I thought, okay, Python I can take anywhere. I can do cloud, I can do data science, and websites. I mean, there are so many packages that you can use with Python. So when you're learning or transitioning from software engineering to data science, make sure that you're learning technologies, open source projects, things like that, that just aren't part of data science, but that are used within data science.
Okay. So as a manager and a director, you've hired countless software engineers. Are there any specific traits or skills you're looking for?
I'm less focused on the technical skills. You know? Yeah, just because it's technical skills are important, right? But I tend to focus less on those because you can probably detect that probably within 5 to 10 minutes if they know what they have presented on their resume, right? It's more difficult to gauge intangible skills, right? Like, are they a good people person? Do they do well under pressure, right? Are they curious? Right? Do they have side projects, or how's their leadership skills? All those things matter to me more than the technical skills. Another thing is humility. Humbleness goes a long way, I think. At some point, you know, in my career, I've tended to kind of get a little too high. But you miss out on opportunities to learn from experts that you're not an expert in, right?
If you're not humble.
Yes. Okay. In order for me to take advice, to take in the constructive criticism, there must be a certain level of humility within me to be able to accept that and be able to take that as a positive thing, to see that they're actually trying to enrich my career.
I see. Are there certain questions when you were interviewing software engineers to gauge those soft skills?
Yeah, you know, there was the typical skills. Can you explain this project to me? What kind of technologies were involved? What sort of roadblocks did you have? What are some of the roles that you had to work with? But my biggest thing was to see them in action. So I would present a problem to them, and I would just ask them, let's talk through it. And give them free reign on the whiteboard and let them design it and see how well they design.
What type of response to that question will be considered a great, strong candidate?
Someone who's going to just take that problem and just start whiteboarding and start coming up with solutions, and they'll say things like, I know this isn't this is very high level, so they're kind of talking you through it, and they're you know, not only are they taking the problem that I presented, but then they even asked me for feedback as if I was a product owner or a product manager, right? You know, and you just then you get a sense of like how they work with others, and there's a lot of things that you can intangible measurements that you can take while you're going into an exercise like that.
I see. Even if that candidate was not able to come up with a solid system design, but that candidate showed you great communication skills, engage with the interviewers,
right?
And articulate the way he or she thinks, would you consider that? Would you consider hiring that candidate?
You know, when you go into interview, right, and you're interviewing a candidate for a specific position, that doesn't mean that that's the only position that they can be hired in for. I try to keep an open mind, not just for that particular role, but if there was other positions on the team that we would need to fill, sometimes that candidate may be a better fit for that position.
Let me flip the question.
Sure.
What if this candidate came up with the perfect system design, scalable, solid, efficient, but exhibited horrible soft skills? Would you consider hiring that person? Like not talking to the interviewers, just to block everything and here's a solution.
That's a really good question, and it's a tough question. I think that I've managed people that have kind of demonstrated those kind of skills, and while they do excellent work, you know, it's been difficult to deal with the things that kind of come around with those kind of soft skills. To answer your question, I probably would not hire the candidate.
Yeah, same here. Because I don't think that person will blend well within the team. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, especially if you have really good cohesion, really good momentum on the team. As a leader, as a manager, that's something that you have to protect. Right?
Yeah. So do you have any tips for the future software engineers?
Stay curious. You know, stay curious early on in your career. You don't want to be stubborn and just say, I want to work in this. Like be open to work anywhere. Be open to help the company, the team with anything. You know, just make yourself available, make your technical skills available. Managers, companies, they love those type of employees. And you know, within this day and age, you know, you can start thinking about building a brand, right? Building the type of professional that you want to present to others, whether it's on LinkedIn or whatever. You know, another thing that I would say to software engineers that you know are new is you're going to fail. Don't be discouraged, right? Because
really
we're all humans. We are not perfect, and I think that kind of psychological fortitude, you know, to understand that we aren't perfect and that we are going to introduce bugs is very important to your mental health and well-being. You know?
So Joey, do you have any future goals?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot.
I still, there's that fantasy sports problem, you know, that I'm still trying to solve. So there's some algorithms and data cleansing and all those things that I'm trying to build up to that. And eventually, you know, I still would like to start my own business. I don't know if it would be in you know, the hedge fund that I originally wanted to, or what that business looks like, but I think eventually I want to start a business.
I see.
But right now I'm very passionate and very curious and interested and deep diving into data science right now. So,
I see.
But yeah, in the future, I think I would like to get back into leadership when the right opportunity presents itself. So
seems like you gotta clone yourself like a few times to do all the different things.
Yeah, feels like it. I have to be very strategic with my time.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope you achieve all the goals that you have in mind.
Thank you.
And yeah, I think you will, because you have the curiosity and then the energy, like never dying energy inside. So I think you'll achieve all those things.
Thanks, John.
And really, thank you for coming on to this interview.
Absolutely. Kudo, joayo. Please subscribe and hit the like button.
All right.
Kudo,
thank you,
joayo.